Nice. Well, hello. How are you guys doing?
I'm good, man.
Good,
How are
how are
you?
you?
Good. Tanya, I don't think we actually met, but I'm Josh. How are you?
Hi, I'm Tanya. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I like your Instagram, the Tanya. I like that.
That's right. I am the Tanya Johnson. There's no one else like me.
There
That's
you
a
go.
fact.
Unique individual. So, how you
That's
guys
right.
doing today?
Good.
Doing good, man. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us. I know that it's kind of like MMA fighting and surfing, but like I've trained for life. We've surfed in Hawaii. We can get into whatever you want to get into, my friend.
Well, it's called Savage Waterman. I talk about fighting, surfing, training, protecting, and all that. But also topics that interest me. I had Mark Evans on the last week. So anything I want to talk, I'm kind of like a cheap Joe Rogan. Like anything that I want to talk about, I just have people on that interest me and I find interesting. So you guys fit
I
that
like it.
category.
I like it, man. We're totally, and you know that. I had a good time with you at the event and all that.
Yeah.
How is your wife doing?
She's good. She's good. Um, yeah, she's doing physical therapy. She has some back issues, but we just harvested. Well, she just harvested some eggs. We got four more. Um, little, for people who don't know it, I don't know how to talk about it, but yeah. So she had four eggs come, and we find out I think today whether how many are healthy and how many are viable. Because I think when I talked to you last time, Dustin, we had a surrogate getting ready to get to
Yeah.
boost up and get going. That didn't work out. She ended up having a miscarriage. So it's just been a wild ride. We've been trying. Well, you ask her, we've been trying longer. You ask me, I'm just like, hey, whatever. But we have one boy through IVF, Kingston. He's 8 years old. And then we've had numerous tries and all these trials and tribulations. So it's a wild ride. We're still on it. I'm 46. I'll probably be that dad at graduation with the walker, like, yeah, go kids. But hey, part of the part for me that I don't, I'm always like, oh man, I'm gonna be that old dad. But if I stay fit and healthy, then age is just a number. I'll be the 80-year-old surfer out there with my kids, and I'll be the guy with 8 kids, out running them, out lifting them, out surfing them, out everything. So that's the goal, hopefully.
Yeah, now I like that, man. Literally, maybe 2 weeks ago, every morning I get on Facebook and I look at who all has birthdays and I send them a happy birthday. Well,
Yeah.
there's this fat dude that drives me nuts, and he's from Amarillo, and I've always had a problem with this guy. We've worked out with him like 100 fucking times, and the dude's just like a lazy fat motherfucker. But I wanted to be nice, so I said, "Hey, man, happy birthday! Haven't heard from you in a while. Hope all is well." He texts me back, "I'm fucking old. I turned 50 today." And I was like, yeah, if that's how you want to feel. But what if you're only fucking halfway done? What
Yeah.
if you make it to 100? You think today sucks, motherfucker. Wait till you hit 80 if you think you're fucking old now. You know what I mean? And I was
Yeah.
just like, that mindset alone, you are fucked.
Yeah. 100% agree. And I used to be like that. I was like, because I've done everything late. I met my wife at 31. We got married at 35, 36. I had my son at 38. And I always think like, man, I'm gonna be that old guy. And when I had that mentality like that dude, it was like, well, fuck it. You know what? I write my own plan. I can change that shit. I'm 46 now. I'm in one probably. I always because fight and train. I used to do MMA. I always think about my 46-year-old. Would I beat my 25-year-old? And I think right now, I think I would beat because I'd fight smarter. I would beat
Sure.
my 25-year-old self. So I'm always mentally like testing myself, giving myself challenges, and that's one of them. Can I last 5 rounds with my old self? I was 225 back then. Now I'm 210, 215. Like, could I do it? Can I fight my own self? How would I fight me back in the day? So it's all these little mind tricks. Now that I'm older, I have to find little ways to fuck with myself more. So,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
yeah, well, as long as I'm still in the gym every morning, doing my thing, surfing, doing all this stuff, I think I'm ahead of the game.
Yeah, I totally. You know me, man. You know I appreciate healthy lifestyle. I appreciate taking care of yourself and shit. Because I'm the same way. At 36, I'm in better shape than dude. All of my 20s was drugs and alcohol and cigarettes. So
Yeah,
it's not too hard for me to beat my 20s, right?
yeah.
But at 36, most people are saying, "Oh, I'm sore, I'm fat, I'm out of shape, I'm overweight." But I'm in the fucking best shape ever. Fuck, I'm doing my first bodybuilding show in a month. You know what I mean? It's like I'm with you. I'm 36. Most people say, "Oh, I'm 4 years away from over the hill." No, I'm fucking headed downhill like a motherfucker, and we going fast. And I'm gonna be jacked when we get to the bottom.
Nice. Hey, you got one of the best before and after shots I've ever seen. So
Yeah,
I'll find a way. I'll put it in here and post it while we're talking about this. But
yeah.
what was that? Your 20s of your boozing and your all that stuff?
Yeah, so that was literally like 4 months before I checked into treatment. And the funny part is the reason like my hair was all wild is because literally about 30 seconds after that picture, Tonya put my hair into dreadlocks. So I had dreadlocks down to here, complete, all done, super fucking like Snoop Dogg, fancy as hell. And then like 3 months later, I had fucking had enough of them. I was riding motorcycles and it would just pull all of them out. It would untangle them. And I liked my shit like super high and tight.
Yeah.
And so every Sunday we would spend 2 hours doing my hair and cleaning it up and doing all this shit. Finally, man, I was so fucking strung out. I didn't have time for all that shit anymore. I just cut them all off.
Yeah.
So yeah, about 4 months later, I went back to fucking shaving my head.
Yeah. Well, you look great. That after I mean, fuck, that inspiration right there for your clients and stuff. That's awesome. So,
Yeah, for sure.
So that was back in your 20s, Tonya. How long have you guys been together, and when did you? How did you guys meet and everything?
So we met when I was 22 and he was 23. We met at a bar, and
I met my wife at a
small
bar.
town. I'm a small town girl, so I was living in a small town, and he was nowhere from there. And we had mutual friends, and that's how we kind of hooked up at the bar area. He tells the story a lot better than I do, but
yeah, man, it was cool. The second I laid eyes on her, I knew she was the one. I was playing Money in the Jukebox, and I just had this weird pull to turn around, and so like I put the dollar in, and it was like turn around, and when I turned around, there she was, and we literally locked eyes. She walked across the bar. I never stopped looking at her. She said some shit to her friend. We locked eyes. She walked back out of the bar, and I just looked at my buddy and said, "I don't know who that is, but we need to hang out with her the rest of the night." Yeah, I guess that's the rest of the story.
that's the rest of the story. From that night, we've been together ever since.
It's like Goodwill Hunting when he says, you know, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
I had tickets to the game, and when you know, you know.
Yeah, because the crazy thing is, like, we got engaged. Like, I moved into his house with him after a month of being together, but he traveled all the time. So he was gone all week, would be home on the weekends. We would get maybe 48 hours if we were lucky together. And so I moved in with him. So it was like, hey, why don't you just stay here and you can help keep up the house while we're gone, and it kind of helps with, everything else. Sure, why not? 6 months later, he proposes to me, and I remember people saying, "You're crazy. You don't even know each other. Like, you're so young." And I was like, "No, when you know, you know." And it's true. When you feel that pull, you know in your heart that person's the person for you.
And just to be clear, all of them people that said, "Oh, you guys are morons. You don't know shit," today say, "Oh, I knew the whole time they were going to be the best couple ever. They've been through so much, and I'm just their biggest fan."
Yeah.
We celebrated 12 years of marriage on June 13th of this year.
Yeah.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, my wife and I have a very similar story. We met at a bar in Newport Beach. All our friends said, "You guys are crazy. It's just gonna, be a couple weeks." We've been together ever since. But my roommate at the time, while my now wife girlfriend was in the car, he said, "Oh, you guys aren't gonna last. Don't get all excited. It won't last for 3 months." And she says, "You want to bet?" He says, "Yeah. What do you want to bet?" And he goes, "A new surfboard." That guy still owes me a new surfboard to this day because he's never. I mean, obviously we're still together. But yeah, you have all the doubters, you have all the haters. I think in anything you do, you're gonna have those people who are just like, one, jealous, two, hate on you and whatever because you're happy. And yeah, a lot of the people that I knew that were telling me, "Don't waste your time," are divorced, are miserable, unhappy. Like, you know what? And it's like, hey, we've been together. We got married August 17th. I remembered 15 years ago. So yeah. It's a wild ride, and I love my wife to death. And when you find it, you know. So it's a great story, you guys.
Yeah, I felt that when me and you kind of connected at the event that we were at recently. Like, I could tell that you guys were legitimate, genuinely in love, and like I have that readability of people. Like everybody can. Oh, we've been married 20 years, and it takes 1 second to know if it's good at 20 years or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like just now, you were like, I got married on August 17th, and we've been together. Like that's the excitement that I like to bring to my marriage too. While we were at that event, I literally talked to a couple, and I was like, "Hey, how long you guys been together?" And the girl looked at me and she said, "Well, we've been married about 5 years." And I was like, "What the fuck was that? What was that?" And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "That was like the most disappointing thing I've ever seen in my life." And her husband's standing right there, and he's looking at her like, "I don't know what we just got into, but this dude's about to start yelling at us." I was like, "Yo, man, like you guys are married. This is your relationship. You should be the happiest about your relationship. You should be telling everybody how you got to today, you know, all these things." And by the time I was done talking to them, they were like, "You are 100% right. We take things for granted. We don't do what we need." And I'm like, "Yo, start now, start today, and be appreciative." Like somebody asked me how long you been. I've been married 12 years, man, and I the only regret I have, I heard this from a friend of ours. She said, "The only regret I have is I didn't marry you sooner so we could be together longer." And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I can't say that though, because I was in no state of mind to be solid boyfriend or husband material in my 20s.
Sure, yeah, neither was I, but we made it work.
Yeah. But my wife was 23, I was 31, and yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
Sure,
So,
sure.
I met her when I was ready, and everything is awesome. You've seen my son on Instagram and stuff, but
Yep.
he has that. Speaking of hair and stuff and dreadlocks, he has really curly hair because I had really long curly hair, kind of like Sammy Hagar. It just grows out and wild. So every night with him, we put conditioner in his hair because he wants long hair. So we brush it out, and like there's dreads under the bottom underneath, and he's like, "This hurts." I'm like, "Well, your other option is shaving it." He goes, "No, keep going." So
Yep.
he's like a little surf grom, so he has that big wild hair. But yeah,
Sure.
so, well, yeah,
that's awesome, man.
I didn't know this. I mean, I was going to have you guys on the podcast anyway, but you guys launched a book. Did it come out today?
Yeah, it's come out today, and I've been watching like crazy, man. So we officially launched it today. We've had a ton of people reaching out and buying it and all these things, but Amazon hasn't updated whether we've hit our goal or not. So I don't have any idea. I got a lot of people rooting for us and pulling for us. So it's been really, really fun. But yeah, so we originally wrote it a couple years ago and just never really did anything with it. And so we basically updated it with our new Vikings and Vixens stuff and some different content and different ways to get a hold of us and stuff like that. And so today we decided to kick off our tour that we're about to go off on. It would be a perfect idea because we want to give our books out while we're on tour, to help people out and stuff. And so we just felt like now's the time. Let's put it out there. Let's let everybody know, and then we can go forward from there. So yeah, it's a pretty exciting day, man.
So I'll go on it and buy it after this podcast, but you just go on Amazon and it's called How to Live a Healthy Lifestyle.
Yep. And if you read, like if it doesn't pop up, you can type in Dustin and Tonya Johnson and that will pull it up too. But yeah, either way, How to Live a Healthy Lifestyle is the name of the book.
How exciting is that to have it on Amazon?
Yeah, dude, it's super. Like we're talking about doing drugs and shit in the 20s, and today it's like, oh yeah, we're authors. I'm literally a monthly contributor to a paid magazine now on health and fitness and things like that. You got a book dropping. We're going on tour. Like, it seems like over the last year, man, we just kept beating our head against the wall and beating our head against the wall and beating our head against the wall. And here in like the last month, it's kind of like the walls have opened up and things are just kind of lining up right now. And it feels really, really good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What do you think contributed to that year-long, like where you're beating your head against the wall? What changed, do you think? I mean, I know you're very active on social media. Do you think that played a huge part of like letting people into your guys' journey?
Yeah, 100%. And to be honest with you, man, it's just a matter of keeping going. When you're just getting started, when you're just making big moves, when you're, trying to get out there and do all the things, it just doesn't ever feel like you get anywhere. But honestly, in the last week, you were the fourth person that asked us to be on their podcast. And it was so funny. Like I was legitimately telling her, hey, we have 3 podcasts lined up this week, and you messaged me a meet, and it was like, this is so crazy. Like, you can't make this stuff up, man. It's just been really cool. It just feels like our time is kind of coming, and just over the last year, whether it was working or not, we just kept pushing forward no matter what.
And I think a lot of it too is because, I mean, it all aligns with our passion and our purpose. And so it's really easy to want to quit on the days it's like, man, why am I even doing this? But in your heart, you know that it's like you're on the path you need to be on. So you just keep going, even though it feels like you're just banging your head against the wall. And I like he said, I think that was our biggest thing is we knew like we just need to keep going. We just need to keep going. I don't know why, but we just need to keep going and, spreading our message and everything. And now it's finally just coming together, and it feels so good.
Yeah.
Tonya, have you always been into fitness, or how did you both get into it together, or one before the other?
Yeah. So when he went to treatment after he got back, I was kind of dealing with some things of my own. I had just had a hysterectomy at the age of 26 from a disease called endometriosis. And so while he was gone, I was kind of navigating that by myself, like the feelings, the emotions around it, the loss around it. And when he got back, I knew that the purpose was to make sure that we were being in sobriety and focusing on that in the forefront. But he didn't like the way that he looked or felt. I didn't like the way that I looked or felt. And so together we just kind of jumped on fitness as a team, because it was like, this is the one thing that we can do that doesn't cost us any money, that we can do for free. And we were starting to learn to do it together so we could help each other out. So basically in 2000, I would say 13, is when we jumped on that train of fitness, and we just never stopped. Mm-hmm. And so every, year, every month, we just kind of like tried something different, tried something new, learned a lot of it ourselves, because I never knew anything about reaching out to a coach. So a lot of it was just research on my own, and we would buy equipment and just start doing a little bit here and there. And then we ended up hiring our first coach, I think in 2016. And that was kind of a game changer. And it was like, wow, we can actually like do this. And we fell in love with the fact of it. And then that's kind of what led to being a coach.
Mm-hmm. Are you
guys, for sure.
Are you guys pretty competitive with each other? Like you have your goals and you say, I got mine sooner, or are you competitive with each other?
We push each other in ways that most people will never understand. Like, she's not a morning person, and the second my alarm clock goes off, I just jump out of bed, because like everybody says I'm not a morning person or I'm a night person, because that's the easy shit. It's easy to get up at 10 and stay up till 2 a.m., right? Everybody can do that. But not everybody can get up at 4 a.m. because they tell themselves shit like, well, I'm not a morning person, or I'm just an evening person. And so is everybody else. Like, there's not one person that when the alarm clock goes off at 4 or 5 a.m. that they're like, oh yeah, this is awesome. This is exactly what I want to do right now. Nobody has that, right? But I just have convinced myself, I've trained myself over the years that at 4 a.m. when the alarm goes off, you just get up. And so I just get up. And that pushes her, knowing that I'm leaving for the gym in like 20 minutes. So if you're coming, let's go. And so we push each other in different ways, not so much, this goal or that goal, because oftentimes our goals are the same. Like in August, we're both performing in our first bodybuilding show. We both did the CrossFit Open in 2018. We've done 75 hard together several times. And so it's just, we're always working together, but we're always going on our own journeys too.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just we've learned to be each other's accountability. And, even though we're significant others, he will call me out on my shit, and I do the same thing. So it's just like having that, we have this understanding that we each have our certain goals that we want to reach. So we don't necessarily compete together, but we push each other hard together.
Yeah, I'll agree to that.
Yeah. And I kind of know this for the negative side of it, but how important is nutrition? Especially, I'm 46. It plays a big role with me. But how important, like when you guys have your clients and they say, hey, I want to, reach this expectation in 6 months. Like, how important is nutrition to, I guess, everything. Like, what do you tell your clients? Like, do you get a meal plan for them, or how do you tell them to
Oh
eat?
yeah, so like our one-on-one clients, we do all their workout programming, we do all their meal programming, so that we're chomping at the bit and knocking things off as we go. We both have several one-on-one clients, and then in a group setting, which is a very similar to the book that we just dropped, is we coach more on habits and principles and how we can eat better, eat the things we eat better, do the things we do better, not so focused on how many calories you should eat or how much this or how much that. We save a lot of that for the people that are really, really serious and really, really want to dive in. But our book and our group are relatively the same principles of, eating whole foods, drinking water, getting plenty of sleep, exercising every day, and getting some sun. Like you get sun all the time, you're surfing, that's all good. Like, so you throw some healthy food in there, you drink some water, you get plenty of rest, and you're literally living a healthy lifestyle. The
Yeah,
problem is most people don't fill them 5 buckets of living that healthy lifestyle. And so nutrition plays a huge part. Fitness plays a huge part, but I really, really coach on circling, like getting all of them pieces together and moving forward that way. Drink a little more water than you did yesterday. Get another 2 minutes of exercise than you did yesterday. Have a better meal than you did yesterday. And if all we focus on today is being 1% better than yesterday, you're stacking wins over and over and over again. And eventually you'll look down and be like, damn, I got a 6-pack. I didn't even know that was going to happen.
yeah,
I think too, like, especially like for our one-on-one clients, because we work more closely with them to hit specific goals. Um, you know, letting them understand how important nutrition is. And I think the biggest thing that I focused on with my clients is how to make it simple, because everybody overcomplicates everything. So explaining to them, like, if you're trying to reach a specific goal, your nutrition is going to play a huge part in that. Like, you can't outwork a bad diet. And a lot of times people think that if they work out hard enough, they can still have the pizza and the beer and the cake and the ice cream and everything too. So kind of like he said, like giving them those principles, like these are your baselines, but here's how you can do this and stay on track, but keep it simple.
yeah. I think the hardest part for me is portion control. My wife's half Hispanic, so when we go to Mexican restaurants, I have chips and salsa basically for dinner, and then I still eat a burrito or something. And that's my biggest battle is portion control.
But here's my thing. How often do you do that? I'll give you a little tip. How often do you do that?
How often do we go out and eat? Too often.
Yeah.
Like 3 or 4 nights a week.
Okay. So no, and that's perfect. So this is how I do it, because I'm the same way. I like pizza, I like beer, I like tacos, I like all these things. And so what I like to focus on is the days that I decide, you know what, I'm gonna go get what I want to eat. Number one, I'll start early in the morning and I'll start peeling back like carbs so I stay away from that stuff. Maybe I'll have a salad for lunch. Maybe I'll just have some eggs and some meat for breakfast or something like that. And then when it comes dinner time, I haven't really ate any carbs, so I'm going to enjoy them chips and salsa, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it, right? But then what I would do instead of getting a burrito is I would get fajitas, where it's just meat and vegetables, and then I would use my chips to scoop them up and eat, and I would be okay with that. But it's making that choice to make it a little bit better when
Yeah.
you're out to eat. And what I like to do is when I decide, I'm going to go out to eat, then I go all out. And it's like, I'm going to go have some wood-fired pizza with some homemade red velvet cake or something like that. But I don't eat ding-dongs and ho-hos and Twinkies and Snickers bars. When I do it at an authentic Mexican restaurant, and I do it up, I enjoy it, and the next day, I'm back on what I normally do. So
Yeah.
when I do decide to enjoy myself, I make sure that it's special and not just like a ho-ho or a ding-dong that's completely worthless. But
Yeah.
I want, authentic Mexican food, or I want homemade dessert or something like that. And I make it worth the calories that I'm going to consume.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, the next day, jump back on and here we go.
Yeah. And for me too, another thing is when we go out, I'm an early riser, like you spoke earlier. I'm up at 4:35 in the morning. So I like to wind down earlier. But my wife is the opposite. And so I tell her, I said, I want to eat before 6 now, because my problem is we'll go to a restaurant 7 or 8 o'clock at night and I'm so stuffed, and then it ruins my sleep because I'm up all night trying to digest. and it just ruins my sleep, which ruins my gym the next, and it just snowballs into a shitty week because it's just we eat so much. But
Yep.
yeah, nutrition, I got to work on that.
Yeah,
But,
for sure, man. And like I said, just start small. Don't get crazy when you go. Like I said, don't get a burrito. Get fajitas or whatever. You get the idea. Just
yeah,
pick healthier choices.
And just
yeah,
focus on the day, that meal, that day, not next week, next month, next whatever. Like
yeah,
that's what I've found too, is if you can just focus on that day or that meal, it will help so much more as you continue to move forward in the next weeks or months.
yeah. Well, thank you guys for that little tip. I like it.
Of course.
I know what you guys are doing. You're getting ready to travel in the bus, but explain what you guys are going to be doing. I don't know, in maybe the next year, or how long is the plan, but just tell me what you guys are going to be doing in the next. I think you're taking off pretty soon, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we have our bodybuilding show August 14th in Salt Lake City. And then on September 1st, we are leaving in the bus and we are going to hit 10 different cities to do a fitness tour. So basically at these 10 cities, we're going to go to a park of some sort and host a group workout session that anybody can come and join. And then after the workout session, we're going to give kind of like a little nutrition seminar for people, have some probably prizes and games and whatnot. And then in the afternoon, we are hosting a private, intimate mastermind event for people to kind of dive a little bit deeper into health and fitness and everything like that. And these 10 stops are basically going to go from September 1st. I think our first one's September 11th, and we end on December 18th in San Diego. So
yeah.
How did you guys come up with that idea? I mean, it's pretty bold to be packing up into a bus and heading out. I admire it. So I could do it.
Yeah. So in 2017, Tonya and I sold everything we owned. We got down to 6 totes worth of stuff. And by totes, I mean the little plastic totes you buy at Sam's Club or whatever. And that was all we had, was 6 totes worth of stuff. And 2018, we traveled the entire year. I was working for the railroad and we were traveling all over the country. And so we were in 25 different states. We went and seen and did, and we had a freaking riot all year long. And that was where we kind of found our love for travel and people and food and being healthy and all these things. And so since then, it's just continued to evolve. We bought our first bus, converted it into basically a weekend rig where we were just running around all over, doing whatever, hanging out on the weekends. And then mid-July or mid-June of 2019, we actually realized, like, we could live like this. We could do this. And so we actually sold our other bus and bought a different one. And that bus is the one we will be leaving in September. But we basically converted a handicap lift 20-seat yellow school bus into a luxury RV. Like, we have a full kitchen, stove, oven, we have a refrigerator, we have a queen size bed, a closet, bookshelf, couch, everything you have, just in a lot smaller area. Basically, it's about 100 square feet, so to speak. And so when we moved into that, January of 2020, I left my job at the railroad and we went all in on running our own business and doing all these things. Well, by the time April came around, the coronavirus had hit and we were kind of at a deadlock because states were getting weird traveling and things like that. So we ended up getting an apartment in Bluffdale, Utah, which is literally 5 minutes from Salt Lake City. And we've been here for the last year, kind of getting some things ready, fixing the bus a little, doing these things, doing that thing, and sort of figuring out how we wanted to move forward and what we wanted to do. And along that way, man, I just kept thinking to myself, like, we've been locked up for a year. Everybody's had, kind of a crappy last year with all the shutdowns and the closures. And at the end of the day, man, my 2 favorite things to do are spread love and spread health. And I already knew how to live in a bus. We'd already done it for 6 months. And so I said, you know what, let's hit it. Let's hit the road. Let's move back into the bus. Let's enjoy our lives. Let's travel. Let's see our people. Let's involve our family. Let's help people be healthy and fit in this upcoming year. And
community.
Yeah, just smile. Do not want to shake hands and kiss babies. You know what I mean? And so I'm just really looking forward to that, the atmosphere, and truly bringing good into the community and just helping everywhere we can.
Wow. Your energy is contagious. I want to go out and hug people and kiss babies now.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see you in San Diego and
Yes.
Mexico.
And yeah, and then Cabo for sure. So you went over a little bit of COVID. How did that change your guys' routine, and how did that change your guys' coaching? How did COVID help or hurt you guys or help you guys? Did you see an opportunity, or what happened?
Let's see. I would say it helped us because in the process of us taking some time out from making YouTube videos with our bus and taking some time for ourselves and doing some digging, man, the last year we really, really, really got into who we are, what we're about, what we actually want, and what we want to do and how we want to do it. And so for us, it kind of ruined our travel plans, so to speak. But in the meantime, we now figured out why we want to travel, how we want to travel, who we want to do it with, and how we're going to go about it. And so I would say it's like 50-50. It was kind of like a kick in the gut, like, yo, you guys were supposed to be living in a bus, and now you have an apartment and a couch and, a hacky sacks or fat sacks or whatever. And now it's like, no, we belong traveling. Between her and I, before we literally sold everything for the last time and moved, we have moved 42 times collectively. So I had moved like 17 times and she had moved like 23 times. And it because we moved so much growing up, and I've just always been the type of person that, like, when I have something, it's awesome, but things have never been like what holds me down. Like when I'm done with it, I'm the type of person like, you know what? I'm done with my phone today. And I'm just done with it. I'll just throw it away. Like, I've always been that way. My dad used to hate me growing up because he would buy me stuff and I'd play with it for a while. And then it was like, man, done with that. Throw that in the trash. I'm done with it. And like, so that has helped me. And that's like a lot of people ask, like, how do you live in a school bus? It truly is. I've traded out things for experiences. And so meeting people, seeing places, going and doing things, trying new food is what keeps me from, I need to have a new couch or I need a new TV or I need these things, and just continuing to minimize our stuff, maximize our output and what we put out into the world, being positive and good, and then just literally kind of like swallowing it all in, man. It feels really, really good.
Yeah.
Kind of peaceful to the soul. Really.
Yeah.
So do you guys have any out of the country travel plans? I mean, now things are starting to open up a little bit besides Mexico.
We do want to travel to more countries. I don't know when exactly that's going to happen, or, like, obviously we're focused more on the rest of this year. But definitely would like to explore different countries and see that. 'Cause like my whole goal, I'd love to travel. We both love to travel. And I feel like there's just so much out there to see and experience. And I want to experience the different cultures, the different scenery, the different everything. So that is definitely in our plans. I just can't tell you when.
Yeah. So when you guys travel, like when you go in the bus, and obviously you don't have a lot of room, do you guys do all like body weight, or do you tell people to bring their own weights, or how do you guys do a full fitness routine with when you guys show up? How does that work?
Yeah, so we'll do like in a group workout setting, we'll just do a bunch of body weight stuff and have some games. And like the idea behind it is the movement and having fun as a community and all that.
For all levels.
Yeah, because dude, I've done 100 burpees in less than 6 minutes. Like, I don't expect everybody to want to do that or even attempt to do that. And so you have to kind of understand that there's guys like you and I, there's gals like her, and then there's people that are way out of shape. So in order to kind of orchestrate so that everybody can be involved and not be overwhelmed or beat up at all is the key. But to be honest with you, man, I literally just 2 days ago, Tonya and I put together an entire travel kit that basically is what her and I carry with us at all times. And I ordered 50 of them. And so they're all going to be white labeled Vikings and Vixens. It's all the equipment that we have. It'll fit into a little bag and with the straps and the whole thing. And so we're super excited about that. We are going to bring them on the road with us. And do some programming with it and things like that. So that is one thing that we are, because so many people travel, so many people are on the road, so many people go on vacation. We literally wanted to create something that was TSA approved. You could throw on your back, you could take anywhere with you, and be able to catch some workouts, get some exercise in while you're on vacation or traveling. Because like me personally, I traveled for the railroad for 13 years. So gyms aren't always a thing because you're in a podunk town in the middle of nowhere or whatever. And so today, having that availability and be able to give our clients and our people a way to work out at the motel or at, just something in the basement or whatever to help them and continue getting them to move.
That's a great idea, because when I travel, I'll just throw resistance bands, a couple of them that I have, and take them with me, because I don't want to bring a foam roller. I don't want to bring my the pull-up bar and stuff like that. I actually looked into trying to get create a pull-up bar that you can,
fold up,
get down and really tightened up, because I think I heard somewhere that if you're on a deserted island, the best thing to do is pull-ups, because you can crack your back, your everything, and really function. So I've always tried to do pull-ups a lot. And then I had shoulder surgery that threw me off. But that's awesome that you guys are doing the travel kit. You guys put that on Amazon as well?
Yeah, so it'll be out. I literally just ordered it, so they're all being made right now. I put in an order for 50 of them. We've got the warehouse that'll hold them, and they'll distribute them for us. Literally just waiting for them to show up now. But in that kit, dude, we put a sandbag, so you'll be able to fill up a sandbag at the beach or whatever. We have several different types of resistance bands, a shaker cup, a bag to hold all the things. So like, it's going to be super cool because it's all inclusive. It's all in one. It's TSA approved. You literally just be, oh shit, we're going on vacation. Grab the workout bag and here we go. And everything's ready for you.
Yeah, because it's basically everything that Dustin and I used when we started traveling, because we didn't have access to gyms. We just kind of compiled our own stuff. And so it's like, this stuff works. This is what we've utilized. So we know it works. We know you can have good programming with it. And that's kind of what we just want to give back to people.
Yeah, well, that's great. I love it, and I'll buy one as well. But so
thank you,
Dustin. I saw I think I reached out to you originally because I was doing some of your workouts, and hugely beneficial. How important is it to switch up your routine? Because I was kind of getting stagnant doing my own thing, and then I saw some of your creative workouts. I was like, oh, I got to do that. And I was talking to you about it. I'm like, you asked how it was. I said, well, I'm sore, so that's what I look for. If I'm not sore the next day, then I didn't push myself hard enough. And your workouts get me sore. So how do you how important is it to switch up the routines that you do?
So if anybody ever pays attention to my workouts, I never do the same one 2 times in a row. Yeah. I always switch it. And I don't write anything down. I don't have anything planned, but I know what part I'm working on. And when I get to the gym, I literally take 5 minutes and I put everybody, we live in an apartment building. So the gym isn't something that's a sanctuary like it is to me, to everybody else. So when I show up, there'll be towels on the ground, water bottles on the floor, weights left out. And I literally spend 5 minutes in my head while I put people's weights away and pick things up, figuring out what I want to do. And what I do in that process is I remember what I did last week. And this week I want it to be completely different. And so that's what I focus on. Not only am I switching like rep ranges and weights and things like that, but every week it's a completely different workout than the week before. And that's what I truly focus on. It's just nonstop. You can't get burned out. You can't get bored because it's always something different.
Yeah. Well, no, I love it because it really, it lit a little fire under my ass to do more, because like I said, I was stagnant. I was going in there doing the same shit. And then I saw your stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. Boom, boom, boom. And some of the equipment I don't have in there, but I improvise and make do. But I really appreciate it and I like it. So I'm following you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So do you guys, since it is Savage and you guys talked a little bit about, you talked about fighting, do you guys put any boxing, and you have a heavy bag, or do you guys do any kind of kickboxing stuff?
I've never trained in like kickboxing or anything like that. I wrestled in high school for 1 year. I was actually really, really good. And I just got into shitty mindset about a year later, and I actually ended up quitting all sports as a sophomore. I don't even have any excuses for it. I was just a shithead little kid. But at 20 or 30, maybe 30 years old, 30 or 31, I actually wrestled in an old man's tournament at what we call the Cornhusker State Games. It's a Nebraska thing. But it's like a summer games for everybody. So there's wrestling, basketball, track. Like they got all the sports. And so I actually trained in a couple MMA gyms to get ready for that. So I would go during wrestling days, and then sometimes I would stay for jiu-jitsu or something like that. I just never trained at it a ton, but I appreciate it. And it's definitely something we've talked about while being on tour is doing some training and different things like that. But I have never focused so much like on kickboxing. At one time I had half of a wrestling mat in our basement. And so like, yeah, we was wrestling, we was doing the whole thing. And obviously the cardio and the conditioning that it takes to be there. But as far as like actually training and fighting and stuff like that, not so much.
Yeah. So who do you like find that are most of your clients? Are they just the average 9-to-5 worker? Are they somebody who wants to, just get off their ass and stop eating bonbons on the couch? Like, well, who's your overall average client that's coming to you guys?
Usually they're 20, 30 pounds overweight, have seen Tonya and I go from whatever they started following us to today. And then it's like, man, I've been watching you guys for a year and you just continue to get better. And that's what I want. And so it's like, cool. That's the cool stuff. That's the fun stuff, because now they have a purpose. They want to make it happen. Where it's, and we teach them how to make it so that they can do it for the rest of their lives instead of 90 days or 10 days or 4 days or whatever it is. We want them to be able to take it with them and go on. And so a lot of them have honestly just been part of our journey, watched us do it, and realized like, them two are always fit. I want to be like them.
Yeah. What's the success rate? How many people sign up and that you motivate, you get going, and then they fall off the wagon, never hear from them again? Like, how many people? What's the success rate?
Yeah, that doesn't really happen, to be honest with you, man, especially with our one-on-one clients, because I'm really hands-on, and I want to make sure that they have everything they need, and I want to make sure that everything's going smooth for them. And so we're in contact with them quite a few times a week, ironing things out and shooting questions and things like that. And so if I have a turnover rate, it's because I'm not doing my job. And so I normally am on, especially my one-on-one clients. As far as like our group coaching, inside of our group, we have 130 people inside of our fitness community online, and nobody leaves that. It's cheap. We charge $19 a month. We provide a shitload of value, but everybody stays because we're always doing cool stuff. We got guest speakers. We're keeping it hot, and so people don't really leave that. And there's a ton of growth because we're teaching that lifestyle to them as well, where it's not so much one-on-one, but like, dude, I've cried 100 times doing live videos for them and stuff. Like, I get emotional. It's important to me. And I want people to understand that, like, especially guys like you and I, it's like, oh, health, how much do you deadlift? How much do you bench press? No, man, can you go surfboarding with your kid at 60? That's what health is to me. That's what fitness is to me. Can you chase your grandkids around the yard? Or are you sitting on the tailgate of your truck saying, them kids sure got a lot of energy. I'd sure like to play with them. You know what I mean? And then, so for me, my biggest thing that I train for is life. Whatever life has to throw at me. If the tire blows on the car today, are you strong enough to take it off? If if something happens, are you strong enough to carry someone out of it? Or that's the things if you called me today and say, hey man, we're going surfing, or I called you today and say, hey man, we're going on a 50-mile hike, I know that both of us are going to say, yes, I'm in, let's go. Like, there's no training for it. We just know that we're prepared. We're ready for whatever life has to throw at us. And my favorite thing to say is yes. So if someone's like, hey, do you want to? My answer needs to be yes, because that's where the fun happens, man. And that's what I train for, is to be able to say yes.
You gave me chills right there, man. I'm exactly the same way. I do a lot of tactical training, and people are like, "For what? You waited for the zombie apocalypse?" I'm like, "No, because if shit hits the fan, I don't want to be too fat to run from one point A to B. You got to be prepared for anything." And that's exactly what I do. I train. I don't do deadlift competitions. I don't do this or that. Can I survive if I get attacked? Can I protect my family? Can I do all this? Can I surf with my son? Same checklist you have is like, that's how I judge if I'm still fit and moving and getting my heart going. And man, that was awesome. I love I like that. But I think for me personally, like I think people follow you guys and are inspired by you because of you guys and your personality. Everybody's had that personal trainer who's like, fucking drop down and give me 20, you piece of shit. Oh, you can't do this. I've never gotten to those people. I don't respond to that. I'm just like, F you, let's go if you want to talk to me that way. But I think your guys' message and you guys and being on social media, you guys talk a lot when you're just walking on your dog and stuff and out on the path. I think that's what responds to me so well is because you guys are great people. You're honest. You're like, hey, this is what we're doing. Hey, we're living it. And I think that's true.
Yeah.
Is like you guys are living what you're talking about, what you're coaching. And I think that's huge inspiration. And definitely, I'm inspired by it. And like I said, I watch your videos and everything. Um, how important do you think social media is in your guys' business and your guys' message and getting out there and with everybody?
I want to touch on two spots that you just said, but if you have something, I want you to go first. Okay, so the first thing I want to touch on is you said there's them asshole trainers that are like, down and give me 20.
Yeah.
Yesterday we recorded another podcast with a great friend of mine, and he said it perfect. He said, I'm a coach, I'm not a trainer. And I was like, that's what I consider myself too, as a coach. And he said, all a trainer's ever going to tell you to do is bicep curls for a set of 8 to 10.
Yeah.
But how many trainers do you know that say, hey man, I noticed you're moving a little slow today. What do you got going on? Oh, my wife's been going through this. I've been experiencing that, blah, blah, blah. A coach comes in and says, cool, how can I help you come into here with the right state of mindset? How can we work on your nutrition? How can we work on what's up here? What can we fix? I don't give a shit if you have a bicep. We all have a bicep. And that's what most trainers teach is down and give me 20. Where a coach wants to come in and help in all areas of life and truly make it a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And that hit me so hard because I'm like, I am a coach. Like, I want to know how my first question to my people every day is not like, oh, did you have a good breakfast? No, it's like, hey man, how's everything going? What do you got going on? What are you experiencing? You know what I mean? Because that's a humongous role. Like you said, if you eat shitty the night before, it ruins the gym the next day. Well, if you ate shitty because you and your wife got into a fight, that's something that's important to me because I'm like, yo, what do you guys got going on? How can we, establish boundaries and how can we eat better so that tomorrow the gym's way better? And so I like to focus on that. And the second thing I like to focus on as far as social media and stuff is what you said, being real, being raw, showing people that we're legitimately living this lifestyle because there's a lot of people on social media that tell you all kinds of shit that don't do half the shit that they say. And I never wanted to be that. So about 3 years ago, when we decided we're going online, we're going to be social media people, we're going to put ourselves out there and see what happens. That was the commitment I made. I want to be real. I want to be raw. I want to tell people, yo, me and my wife had a giant fight this morning. I told her I hated her and she told me she hated me. And I'm okay with that. We're going to work through it at lunch. And tonight we're going to sit down at dinner together. Like, that's the real, that's the rough. Because that's what people are truly experiencing, man. And like you said, that's why people relate to us, because we just say what's truly happening. We live by what we tell other people to live by. And that's what I want to continue. And that's why social media is important, because it only takes a couple of wrong messages and people are like, yo, what's up with them people? Like, I don't want to hang out with them people. And like when we first started, that was us. We was just rambling on like, and people were like, whoa. We just talked to a lady the other day. She's like, when you guys first started, man, I did not know what you guys were up to. You were crazy. And I'm like, yo, we're still crazy. Like, we're just learning now how to do it better. And so the continue doing it over and over and over again has just made us better at it. And now, like you said, more people have found us, more people can relate to us, and we're not so like rough around the edges like we were a few years ago.
Well, I think I'm still go ahead.
I was gonna say, and I don't ever want to be that person that when you meet me in person for the first time, that you're not like, oh, you're not at all who I expected you to be. Like, I want you feel when you see me online, you get that same feeling when you see me in person as well. So being completely authentic is very important to both of us.
Josh, well, I got you pulled up, man. My buddy just texted me from Amazon. We're literally number 4 in adult continuing education. So as long as we pass number 4, we'll become bestsellers today. So it's really exciting. I got chills. It's really fun, man. It's been fun.
I'll tell you, I'm going afterwards, and I'll buy it. I'll buy a couple.
No, I appreciate it, man.
I'll give it to some friends and stuff. But
yeah.
What you said, Tonya, was like you want to be as real on camera as you are. You don't want to have people come up to you and say that's a different person. For me, that's what I'm kind of battling, because my wife says, you have your kind of you have a different kind of sense of humor that people don't get. Like, I'm pretty dry and sarcastic, and she's like, you're not for everybody, Josh. But I'm like, well, if I do that online, then I might lose. But I don't know, I'm on the fine line of, do I just be myself and say fuck it and like this is who I am? Or
because the right people will find you.
Yeah.
Be you 100% of the time. And I have neck tattoos. I'll say the F word and God in the same sentence, and people will be like, you can't do that. And I'm like, yo, actually, I just did. Me and God are good, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how things are. And I'm 100% with you. Do you know how many people I've had say, I can't stand that dude. He's loud. He's obnoxious. He's full of energy. Perfect, Karen. You weren't made for me. And that's good. People weren't made for your dry humor and your fun. That's perfect. Now them people are no longer in your life. And that's good. You guys weren't a fix anyway, or a fit anyhow. So for me, you can literally remove like a year and a half of crap from us when it was like, oh, don't cuss, don't say nothing bad, like just tell them, we had eggs for breakfast, to today where it's like, this is who I am and this is what I do. It's so much easier, dude. It's so much better, and it feels better. You're more at who you are, and it's more realistic. And the crazy thing is the people that you're talking about that are going to leave, they weren't paying attention to you anyway. They just followed you because they heard about you or whatever. But the people that truly, truly connect with you, they will stay with you forever. Yeah. And I have one-on-one clients that we've been working with for 3 years now. And they still preach and love and praise us to the top of the moon because we take care of them, because we are their people. And so be you, man. Share you, and your people will show up.
I love it. You guys. You guys are awesome. Well, hey, I know you said August 14th. You guys both have a fitness or bodybuilding. What is that about?
So we last October we signed up with a bodybuilding coach. He helped his ex-wife get from I've never been to the gym before to number 3 at Miss Olympia in 2018. And that's like the greatest of great. And so in October, we decided, you know what? We've done 75 hard a few times. We've done the CrossFit Games. We've done some powerlifting. Let's try a bodybuilding show, and let's do it together. Let's experience the whole thing. Because that's one thing that Tonya and I are really good at is I have a certificate in nutrition, which is great. I paid like $1,000 for it. Is maybe like 2 months worth of work. And to be honest with you, like what I learned from it was minuscule because I had already been working at it for like 6 or 8 years. So did I learn something? Yes. Did I earn a certificate? Absolutely. But what I focus on is if I tell you to do something, you better damn well believe that I've already done it 10 times more than I'll ever ask you to do it. And so over the years, Tonya and I have literally done keto, Whole30, paleo, like
plant-based, vegan,
CrossFit, bodybuilding, powerlifting, running, mud runs. We've done all these things so that we can have the experience and we can be experts in all sorts of living a healthy lifestyle. Because there's nothing worse than someone telling me to do something that's never done what they're telling me to do. I don't vibe with that at all. It doesn't fit with me well. And so I like to make sure, like, again, that I am who I say I am and I do what I say I do. And that crosses over with our clients. It crosses over with our friends, our social media. Everything's all one.
Yeah. Well, you just said real quick about plant-based and vegan. My wife's like 95% vegan. She went vegan for health issues. So because of that, I also had health issues, and she thought it would change my health. I think she talked about it a little bit with you, Dustin, at the show. How my biggest thing, I was the old meathead, like I need protein. I used to eat steak and chicken, which has got me in my situation. But how would you guys suggest to keep on the muscle and everything being plant-based? I know there's lots of special protein powders and this and this and that. But what do you tell clients who are plant-based how to keep the muscle? How does anything change as far as lifting and everything, or how does that work?
Yeah, so for me, we've both been plant-based, and we'll actually probably be I'll be like 95% plant-based when we move back into the bus. And the only reason that is we don't have hot water. And so cleaning greasy pans doesn't work well, and you just kind of like smear grease all over. And so when we live in the bus, like meat isn't, we have a little grill and things like that, but like meat's not an everyday necessity. So what we do is we will get into like the Morningstar Farms, like the burgers or the meatballs, or there's a bunch of vegan meats in the frozen section of grocery stores.
Very high protein.
Yeah, they're really high protein, and then we'll do a lot of beans. I actually will continue to do eggs and egg whites. Protein powders, we actually use this. It's PD Select, and it's cheap, it's affordable, and it's pea protein, and so it's really good. And so when you ask about losing muscle, obviously your macros are going to change a little bit. You're probably going to be eating more carbohydrates on a plant-based diet because beans have carbs, vegetables have carbs, fruit has carbs, but there's protein in them things as well. And so for me, protein is not something that should ever adjust. If you eat 4 burgers a day and it equates to 200 grams of protein, I personally believe you should still eat 200 grams of protein on a plant-based diet, whether that's through beans or tempeh or tofu or seitan or anything like that. But protein is legitimately a lot of what helps build your muscle, but also keep your muscle. Like right now, we're running in a calorie deficit. I'm 800 calories short today. We're carb cycling, so we're really, really short, but I'm still eating over 300 grams of protein so that my muscle stays and I'm just burning fat.
I would say too, like obviously making sure you're getting protein at every meal. And when you are doing plant-based or vegan, oftentimes like you're not eating chicken or beef or anything with those meals. So sometimes, I see a lot of people who eat just vegetables, which is fine, but you want to make sure that you're having protein. And so sometimes what you need to do is get where you're getting a complete protein. So beans and rice compared together will make a complete protein. So as long as you're kind of combining and getting a complete protein at every meal, if you can, that's the better option. So, sticking with like seitan, tofu, tempeh, beans and rice together, things like that, that's going to help out quite a bit. And like Dustin said, making sure that you're just hitting a higher protein goal instead of completely removing it out. Because I think people get confused and think, well, if I go vegan or plant-based, I just eat vegetables. And that's not true.
Yeah. Do you guys, like, I had a big B12 deficiency because I wasn't getting that. And now my wife has a little spray. I do 8 shots a day. And I'm high in B12 now. But what supplements do you guys suggest, or do you suggest to kind of make up the balance of not eating the meat?
Yeah, so B12 is definitely one that you should supplement, but that's one you should probably supplement all the time anyway. D3 obviously is something that's important. You're in California, so you get plenty of sun and plenty of surfing and stuff. But obviously D3 is super important for every cell in your body. Yeah, what do you got?
So B12 is basically the only thing I would recommend, because once you stop eating meat, you're not getting that.
Yeah.
So honestly, the only supplement I would recommend is B12.
Yeah.
And then, if you need D3, then get that as well. But otherwise, the only other supplement we use is protein powder.
Yeah.
But that's made with rice protein and pea protein. So, I mean, that's basically the only thing we supplement with when we did it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys, I mean, I could talk to you for another 2 or 3 hours. This was awesome, but I don't want to take up more of your time.
For sure.
Tell us about your website, the book, Instagram, anywhere you want people to find you. How are we going to reach out to you?
Okay. Well, if you want to reach me personally, my Instagram and Facebook is the Tonya Johnson. And if you want to reach our company, Vikings and Vixens, you can go to vikingsandvixens.com. Has everything on there for our book is on there, How to Live a Healthy Lifestyle. You can access it through there, as well as all of our coaching programs that we have. And we also have the Fitness Bus that is on Instagram that you can follow,
and YouTube
if you want to follow our travels, because we will be documenting our entire trip in our 10 city stops.
Yeah, so the Fitness Bus on YouTube, it's all of our bus build and all that stuff leading up to today. And we've basically been off of it for a year, and that's something we're working now to start bringing forward so that as we take off, it's moving again. But yeah, if you want to get a hold of me, it's at _Dustin Johnson. When you have a professional golfer with the same name as you, you have to come up with different ways to, and that's how we ended up as the and the. We literally sat down and were like, how are we going to do this? We need to, make like this perfect little idea of how me and you can, so we did the and the, and that's, now it's the Fitness Bus, and it just continues on with me and her. So it's been kind of funny.
That's awesome. Well, send me all the links. I know them all, but I'll put them in the description too. And I'll do my best to get the word out there for you guys. But again, thank you so much. This was awesome. You guys, if people don't watch this and go out and start lifting and being healthier, I mean, they're insane, because you guys are very motivating, very knowledgeable, and I appreciate you guys' time very much. And thank you guys.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll definitely hook up with you in San Diego. And when that bus heads out to Cabo, let me know. I'll be waiting with a skinny margarita. Maybe mine will be a Cadillac, but nonetheless, I'll be greeting you guys out there.
I love it, man. Thank you for having us, and thank you for being you, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. See you guys.
All right, man.
Bye.